Hey guys, this week on Bookworm, Whitney stops by and we have the raging debate over ebooks versus paper. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Bookworm. I'm Casey, and this week we have Whitney with us, and we're going to discuss digital versus paperback books and the merits therein. All right, Whitney, introduce yourself to the internet. Say hi, internet.
Hello, internet. I am Whitney, and I'm a bibliophile. That's the only qualification I have going on to the show.
We don't actually have, experts or anything. We just have people who we hook into coming on and hanging out with us and talking. Okay, so this week's debate, as we said, digital ebooks, Kindles versus the old-fashioned paper in your hand. Now, what side of the debate are you taking here? What is your focus going to be?
I'm going to go with the digital on this little throwdown we have going on right now.
Two bibliophiles enter, only one leaves. Welcome to Thunderdome. No,
I don't think it's going to be that brutal.
It's not. We're probably too nice to each other to really get cutthroat with it.
Well, it's not even that, though, because we're not nice to each other. What it is I'm also a book nerd, so I really also like having the feel of a book too. So I can go both ways, but I chose the digital format because you said you're completely against.
I need an opponent.
No, you said you're completely against digital.
I am. I'm hoping Whitney might be able to convince me.
I'm going to pull you into the dark side.
Convince me to break down and buy a Kindle, because right now I see no really need for it. Now,
you don't have to buy a Kindle though. That's the great thing. You can go on eBay and get a cheap tablet or anything, and just get the Amazon app.
Well, see, that brings me to my first point. There is a difference between reading on a tablet, like I've been told, versus reading on something like a Kindle that's made just for reading.
That is true.
What do you think the major difference between those two is?
The major difference is the e-ink, or ink paper, I think is what I've just been told. I'm a little archaic with the technology terms. But the Kindle has a flat, matte app, or look to it, whereas my tablet, which I use for other things, obviously, has a shinier effect, so there's a lot more of the retina.
So you have it's a little bit more difficult to read on that versus something.
It is a little bit more
the paper white thing on a Kindle.
The e-paper is more like reading a book. So there's
a little more
no
natural
strain
to the eye.
Yes, exactly. So that is an option for people like you who don't want to burn your eyes.
Well, I mean,
but I like to burn my eyes.
I think like most people, I stare at a computer all day. When I'm at work, when I'm surfing the internet, I'm staring at a screen all day. So to me, it's a break. It's a different kind of experience to sit down with paper in my hand. I don't feel like I'm so much hunched over at my desk all day. So to me, that's one of the benefits of having a book in my hand, is it creates a very real physical break from what I do the rest of the day.
I can understand that. The good thing, though, is, are you a night reader?
I am. I'm the in bed, before bed, one more chapter kind of reader.
And I think most adults, that's the only time that most readers now can fit it into their schedule. Mm-hmm. And that's the argument against it, is the only time I can read is before bed. I don't want to keep the light on. The great thing about these apps, or these Kindles and the tablets, are you have a backlit option. Okay. So you can read it without a lamp. You don't have to have a book or a flashlight, old school, with a sheet over your head.
See, I like the old school. I like building my little bed tent fort, and I'm like, well, you can't come in. No boys allowed.
A good fort is awesome on a snow day. Totally do that at night. But no, I mean, as an adult, I don't want to be a little kid anymore, and I want to read my tablet.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. But no, I can totally see what you're saying. And if you're in a relationship, you have someone sleeping next to you, you don't want to disturb them. It would be nice to have something that has its own light source, that you're not like, turn off the fucking lamp, I'm trying to sleep.
Exactly. And I would get that from time to time, so tablet, awesome.
Okay, you've made some really good points about e-readers, Kindles, iPads, and whatnot being a little bit more convenient, I guess.
It's in the con stack right now. Being weighed.
Yeah, being weighed and measured. Now, one thing, I've done a little bit of research on this. I read some articles, and one thing I've found that a lot of people are agreeing on is studies have been done that test reading comprehension versus when people read in a paper format and when people read on a Kindle or a screen. And a lot of the studies are showing that people have a harder time not only comprehending what they're reading, but retaining that information, using critical thinking skills with what they've read. So to me, it's a little harder, and I don't know you've read both. I know when I'm reading on a computer screen, either for class or for work, I have a harder time concentrating and a harder time retaining that information. Do you find like you have that problem at all?
Yes, and I think the reason with that is because you need to, with a book, you're activating more than one sense. So instead of just reading the book, you're also touching the book, and you're feeling along the words. I don't know if you scan, but some people do. And so you're activating at least two senses. Whereas with the Kindle or a computer screen, you're just reading. So when you are wanting to retain that knowledge and you're wanting to learn more about that knowledge, that's when you use other interactions. And the good thing about ebooks are that you have links to websites, you have games, you have quizzes that you associate with that. So if you're reading something you want to learn and retain, you'd want to activate another sense.
Yeah, and
So you just have to be aware of that.
to me, if I have this device that's capable of logging onto my Facebook or doing these other things, to me that'd be more of a distraction.
It could be.
Because I'm one of those, if I'm
I'm
sitting
not
down
gonna
with a
lie,
book...
I've checked Facebook in the middle of a chapter.
See, yeah, if I'm reading a book, don't talk to me. I'm one of those people, like, if you see me with a book in my hand, do not approach.
But that's only if you're on a screen, if you're on a window screen. If you're in the tablet app, or if you're in your Kindle and you're reading the book, you're just there in the book, and you're just reading. You can even have it where you're turning the page and you're making a physical motion instead of just tap.
See, and
then you become part of the book still. You're reading it. You're still getting lost in the words and the imagination of it. You're just...
I don't know, I guess to me it's a different sort of tactile sensation. It's not as weighty, I think. And to me personally, I think we discussed this earlier.
Weighty?
It's
What
weighty.
is weighty?
It means it has a more fulfilling feel.
So look, this is how you get a case, and then you've got this, and you can turn the pages.
It's still not the same as having the book in your hand where you can underline and you can, oh, this reminds me of a paragraph 3 pages back. Let me flip real quick.
Oh, but you do underline, and then you save the spot of the page.
But it's not the same. You don't get the physical satisfaction. And to me, one of the big things I love is I'm a collector. Like, I not only like to read, but I like to have what I read on display in my home. I have bookshelf upon bookshelf.
But who are you displaying these?
They're for me. It's my pleasure.
It's for you.
It's to look at them and be like.
It's not for like when somebody walks into your home and they're like, "Oh, look how smart you are. You have books upon books."
If they think my collection of like J.R. Ward or Anne Rice makes me an intellectual, then they're way down on the social scale anyway. Like if my Nora Roberts collection impresses you, then I'm probably not really trying that hard.
Well, I mean, your Anne Rice collection would pretty much.
Yeah, my first edition Queen of the Damned autographed is probably the pride of my collection, and I like to have that on my shelf.
And you should. There's absolutely no reason. Becoming an e-reader does not mean that you have to abandon print. In fact, I purchased a book for book club that we're reading that I didn't really want to read, and I thought it was gonna be really girly. It is a little bit girly, but I went out and immediately bought the hardback special edition. So that I had it, and I could feel it, and I could smell it, and I could keep it with me forever. But then I could also take it with me on a plane trip.
And see, that's the one thing I can't make an argument against, is it is more convenient to have that many books at your fingertip on trips or going to the beach. I know a friend who always takes her books to the beach, and she has this big beach bag full of books. And it would be more convenient to have
I take my tablet, and then I can totally veg out. And you don't know what I'm reading. I could be reading the dirtiest, raunchiest thing on the beach, and you would have no idea.
But see,
the little kid next to me can be like, "Oh, I like your Punisher sticker." I'm like, "Thank you," and I'm reading like erotica.
50 Shades of Grey or something.
That's not erotica. There's so much better choices than that.
We've already had the 50 Shades of Grey discussion on the show. We're not going to go back over that.
We don't want to do that.
No, that's a whole different discussion. We have men in the room. We can't do this. But
hello, boys.
Okay, here's something I want to ask you about.
Yes.
In my pseudo research, I came across an interesting idea of researching aliens. The idea of the public library and whether or not the e-readers and the Kindles are kind of the death of the modern library. The idea that because in the UK they are trying to privatize public libraries, these big companies, these e-reader companies, and while I agree that an e-reader does help as far as being able to have more access to information, if we completely lose the print, you lose the ability of these people who maybe necessarily can't go out and buy these more expensive technologies, but they can walk down to their local library, take out a library card, and read every book in the place. Do you think if we keep going, if the trend continues and becomes more and more pronounced, these e-readers, that we're going to lose that that sense of local free knowledge for all people.
I don't think that's the case. The brick and mortar library is not going anywhere. What e-readers and electronic media has done is it's causing it to change. So this dinosaur beast that we have has to evolve. It has to become something else. What it does is you're never going to lose the sense of community, because now you're going to have the computer banks. There are some libraries now that are just electronic media formats. That's all they are. And you go in, you read on the internet there, you can have access to the internet, you have classes. They do classes there. You're never going to lose the books, because children and children's books are primarily big tomes of illustration. And you're going to have your reading once a week, where the little kids all get to come and somebody dresses as a little Bo Peep and read you nursery stories. You're never going to lose that sense of community. Now, you do have a point about people not having the technology in their hands,
The access to the technology.
and they're just still going to always have print. The print book shouldn't leave, especially not anytime soon. But
I would hope not.
yeah, I don't think it should. But what it has done is it's gained popularity with somebody like me, because I borrow books from the library.
Yeah.
They have doubled their inventory because I have access to books that they can buy cheaply and give out links. I don't have to worry about late fees. I don't have to worry about rushing to the library in the middle of the night because I forgot to turn my book in. I don't have that problem anymore. So when I borrow a book, I just borrow it till I'm done reading it, and then I let it go back.
And see, I guess that's the one thing I can't argue against. I don't have a legitimate, compelling argument against the convenience factor, because it is so easy to tote. And I'm the chick who you see, and she has like the massive purse, and there's like 5 books in it, and I'm halfway through all of them. I'm that person. We've discussed Killing a Hobo with Pride and Prejudice.
Yes.
But so I can't.
One mighty swing, and
Jane Austen takes him out. So I can't argue against the convenience. For me, and this is not a logical argument. It's purely emotional. It's the smell. It's having it in my hand. It's like you said. It's the feel of the paper. It's the ink smudges on your fingers when you've been reading. To me, those are all things that cannot be replaced. And no amount of convenience is going to make up for not having that emotional connection to the work in my hand.
I agree with you on that, but I don't think that the goal of digital media or digital books is meant to replace. Nobody really wants to replace. We want to add. We want to give you new experiences that you can add on top of this. And something that you don't have the access to by leaving that out completely is there are authors who can only do books by electronic form. Amazon is full of people like me or other. We have friends that have published books on Amazon that they wouldn't have had the chance to do before. And one of my favorite series is the Alice in Deadland series. It's fantastic, but I can only get that in a media or an electronic format.
Because they don't make the
exactly.
hardcover.
They don't have a print version. I can try out a new author for 99 cents versus $25 at the library. A brand new book by a brand new author is going to be in a hardcover format.
It's going to be. It is.
So you're talking about
expense.
the cost.
Yeah.
I mean, I can buy a cheap e-reader off eBay, a used one, for next to nothing, and then I have that, and I can buy a book for 99 cents, or I can get all of the classics, Alice in Wonderland. You can get that for free.
Yeah.
You know, so you have that ability that you don't have
with a hardcover book.
With relying solely on that. You've got to get to the store. You've got to purchase it. You've got to go and go to the library and borrow it.
That's part of the fun for me. Is the experience,
is the search. Going through the
book
free bin.
shopping and going to the used bookstores and spending an hour scouring the shelves and coming across like this rare thing you've been looking for, and all of a sudden,
you really have that moment where the light shines on.
And like I can't stress enough, it's the smell. It's the smell of old paper.
That's why you buy the book candle.
No, I'm not gonna light a damn candle.
It's actually really good. You walk into the room and the candle's all lit, and it's kind of, it's a little smoky, and you're walking into a library full of books, old, musty, delicious smelling books.
Yeah, but you're getting it in candle form.
Absolutely.
Like candle,
go
Kindle,
anywhere. I could take it anywhere. I can have a library in my bathroom if I want. Can you say that?
Actually, I do have several books in my bathroom.
Stacked up next to your toilet doesn't count.
They're stacked up on the floor, on the toilet. I keep them in the shower when no one's in there. I need more bookshelves is where I'm going
Apparently,
with this.
Yeah.
I guess I can see that I'm eventually I'm gonna have to break down. I'm gonna have to join.
Don't replace. Don't
No,
replace.
I could
Just
never
add.
replace. I could never
Add to your
replace.
experience.
But I may have to step into the new era and update myself a little. As much as I'm like resistant to it, as much as I'm like, no, change bad, I may have to. Because I mean, everyone's telling me I need to do it. You know, jump in, be.
Well, I want to discuss things with you.
And
I want to go over books that I've read because we have such similar taste in reading that I want you to have a debate with me on a book.
We do. By our next podcast, you may see me in here with a cursed Kindle or something, and then you all know me for a hypocrite.
No, it's not hypocritical. Absolutely not. You can learn. Learn is good. Change is good.
I don't want to change. I don't want to grow as a human being.
You don't have to grow up. Just,
No, we've already established
Add
I'm a
to your-
Toys R Us kid.
Exactly.
There's no growing up here.
There's no growing up here. On either one of us, really. Not
We have like man children. We are like woman children. We're gigantic woman children.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a little. I mean, we're not gigantic.
We've got to think of a better word.
Yeah,
I don't like that word.
We'll have to rephrase.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you have it. It's up to you. You got to make the personal choice for yourself. I agree with you, though. I don't think we could ever replace paper, the
No.
books in our hands, the books on
Absolutely
our
not.
shelves. They're always going to have a place, especially for bibliophiles, us hardcore fans that love.
I want to go to sleep with a certain book every now and then.
See, there you go. See, you
can't do
can't
that.
sleep with cold hard electronics.
Well, you can, but
you
it's
can,
just-
but it's really creepy.
Yeah, just a
and
little bit.
You probably shouldn't.
No.
Like, I mean, if it requires batteries, no.
Anyway.
Anyway,
I thought we were
segue.
talking about 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh God, okay. We're gonna stop before this completely just dissolves
Melts
into
down.
madness.
Well, it was supposed to be a throwdown. We were too nice to each other.
We were like, bitch, please. Okay, Whitney, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
And maybe helping enlighten me and push me into the new age.
I'm going to pull you. I'll pull you in.
Pull me kicking and screaming. So check in next time, and maybe I'll have a new shiny Kindle to show off.
She will.
Again, this is Bookworm. Thank you.